right. All right, everybody. Welcome back in. Wednesday evening. I'm sorry. I am late. I'm very, very late. I'm very, very late. But I have a good excuse of why I'm very, very late. I am actually actively working on a Jeffrey Epstein video. I was actually meeting with my editor this evening, and we were going through, some video that he's been putting together, and we're going to be dropping that in a couple of days. And I know a lot of you have been coming in and watching my Epstein coverage. I was going to go through some of the Epstein files again tonight, but I do know that Pam Bondi met with the oversight committee today, and I'm going to be honest with you, I just didn't have time to follow it. It's so much to go through, and I don't want to come on air and report about something that I wasn't able to follow throughout the day. But I have been following, obviously, Nancy Guthrie, the investigation look, this has been well over a week now in her disappearance. We've got some new clues that have come out today. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about, what happened last night. So last night, a person of interest was detained for quite a long time. I believe there was a home that was searched. I'll read a little bit this from Yahoo News. And it was crazy. This happened like right as I went off air last night. So the minute I went off air, of course, new news comes through, and that's kind of where we're at. So I know that we're kind of still in a holding pattern through this. I was tracking updates through the day. My moderator, one of my moderators, Mary, that she's in the chat pretty frequently. She was sending me little updates as I was going through the day, and I was checking X and trying to stay kept up on updates. So let's look at this. So last night, just as I go off the air, they detain a man. I think his first name was Carlos, that lived about an hour from Tucson, and in Rio Rico, I think the name of the little town was. So it says it says man who was detained for questioning and disappearance was released, and the search continues. So a man who was said to have been detained for several hours in connection with the apparent abduction of Nancy Guthrie had been released after investigators searched the home where he lives in Rio Rico, Arizona overnight. The thing that I just thought that was a little bit weird about it, as he said, they were talking to him afterwards. They were interviewing. He said, "Oh, we haven't even heard anything about this." I'm like, seriously, bro? Like, you live in Arizona, you live around Tucson, like you haven't heard anything about this, really? I don't know. That was just a little weird, a little suspect to me. But hey, maybe he didn't. Maybe he did. Maybe he's still considered a person of interest. The FBI just keeping their eye on him. We don't know. So it says, speaking to reporters outside the home, he shared with his wife and his mother-in-law, a delivery driver who identified himself as Carlos said he had not heard of the Guthrie case, but hoped police would solve it. Okay, it's a little weird. I hope they get a suspect, he said, because I am not it. Late Tuesday, in Pima County Sheriff's Department said that he had detained an individual during a traffic stop in the south of Tucson. Police and FBI evidence response team conducted a court-authorized search at a location in Rio Rico, the department said. The department came hours after the FBI released new images of an armed individual taken from the doorbell camera of Nancy Guthrie's home in Catalina foothills, just north of Tucson, Arizona, on the morning of the 84-year-old's disappearance. So the FBI Kash Patel shared photos and videos on social media of a person wearing a ski mask and gloves who appeared to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door. Let me see here. A ransom note demanding $6 million of Bitcoin was sent to several news outlets. We know about that. Savannah Guthrie released new Instagram video on Monday night, pleading with followers to help us in the search for her mother. Going into its second week. We are in honor of desperation. We need your help. And again, the tip line, if you have a tip, is 1-800-CALL-FBI, and that is the FBI tip line. So that's kind of where we're at as of last night. So now this morning I wake up, and let's do this. Let's get the live feed up on the screen while we talk about this stuff. I'm going to just pull up JLR's stream. He's out there on foot, obviously. So we'll play this. Okay. So let's see this. So now, where this morning I wake up and I see TMZ now gets a new letter or email from this said kidnapper. And it says here, says breaking news. This was this morning. Nancy Guthrie's ransom note sent to TMZ, including demand for Bitcoin in exchange for information. And they only wanted one Bitcoin. They only wanted one Bitcoin, which was estimated, I think, around $57,000. And so let's read a little bit about that. So we have a new letter in the bewildering Nancy Guthrie case has been sent to TMZ, reportedly including a demand for one Bitcoin in exchange for information about an elderly woman's kidnapper. So they said that they have information about the actual kidnapper, that they could release this information to if they get this Bitcoin. And I'm sorry, it's $67,000. Says TMZ reported that the $67,000 would be in exchange for the name of the individual involved. The letter in third alleged note sent to Nancy was seen on January 31st, containing details of the working Bitcoin address. TMZ host Harvey Levin said that Wednesday appearance on Fox News, American Newsroom. He said, if they want the name of the individual involved, then I want one Bitcoin to the following wallet. Time is more relevant, the note stated, according to TMZ. They said that they want one Bitcoin sent to the Bitcoin address that we have that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address, and as they put it in, time is more relevant, Levin said. So we have no idea whether it's real or not, but they're making a demand. The Bitcoin address is different from the one featured on the original ransom note. So is this someone that's just coming out and they're just trying to get money out of this? We can see scams like that as well, too. It just gets very, very confusing. It gets very confusing because you have people that will pop in and they'll be opportunists, and they'll try to get involved in these situations to extort money as well, too. So now you don't know what you're dealing with. Let's see what else.
Most of the time. And what happened today here at the home of the FBI? Like, what exactly did they search? Because I wasn't here. I was over there at Tomaso. So you were here. What did you see?
Well, basically, we were sitting here, and all of a sudden, let me turn this off.
You got the scanner on.
Yeah. It was the same thing like we saw yesterday. There was a team of FBI, and they literally were right next to Nancy's house. There's probably, how far is that?
Goes to the
200
road?
yards?
Yeah.
Yards. And so they were searching all the way down the side of the yard. And hey, see you, Dolly. Shout out, Dolly. But it was so funny. They're not funny, crazy that it's so close. But they were literally crawling in the rocks, in between, and they went all the way down to the end of the road, and then they came back up. And when you came is kind of where they finished up.
So how quick was it? Quick? Like it looks like it was
pretty quick. Yeah, I mean,
but why around here? Like why here? Like
I think it's just they have a grid, probably. What I'm thinking, and it's like
search grid.
It's like this grid hasn't been. Has anyone been there? Oh no. Well, we need to go. And so I think they're just doing it. Seems a little odd.
Yeah, I did hear that, Karen. I was going to talk about that as well, too. Thank you for reminding me that.
Searching for clues. Is it a distraction?
Let's listen here for a second. I'll go back to the articles.
Doing their job.
Yeah, I mean they gotta keep busy. But the thing is there's 4,000 tips that came in, so we could wake up tomorrow hoping, right?
Dropped a bunch of things. Huh. So yeah, I mean, so the FBI was here. Did a brief search. We seen them on the road. Found a glove today. Do you know where they found the glove?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that as well, too.
I just saw the photo.
What do you think of the glove? Legit or not? You think it's?
That's where I'm wondering if why haven't they asked the media? Does anyone own any black gloves here so they know?
Well, you know who else had black gloves?
Who?
The guy that was on this property here that went out and got the mail with them black gloves.
And so that's kind of where
where else black gloves was shared? On the media yesterday, the whole world saw a guy with black gloves.
Yeah. Yeah, and
who's to say that whoever journalist happened to be there to catch that photo went ahead of time and just whoop? threw a black glove down,
Yeah.
and then went there when the meter.
Yeah.
And so is that what people are thinking, that someone put a black glove over, because it's like puffy kind of, right?
I mean, you got a week into this, and no one saw a black glove before.
Well, let's just hang on here. We're just gonna pause a bit. Let's just pause this for a minute. And again, now that I'm live, my chat is frozen again. YouTube, you got to do better on this. You got to do better on this. I'm sorry, StreamYard, you got to do better here. The chat just freezes. I can see it on the screen up here moving, but I can't pull your chats up. And this is what's the point of doing these live streams, is that we want to interact with all of you, all the people that are watching. This is getting very annoying. It's the third night in a row, and now it's moving. This is getting very annoying. Yeah, exactly. But for my friends and my subscribers that followed me through the Karen Reed case, isn't this kind of smelling a little bit of this now? Remember the tail light that was just sprinkled all over the crime scene for days and days and days? They kept finding tail light everywhere. It kept popping up. There's tail light everywhere, right? Now, JRL just made a good point. It's been a week out here, over a week, and you're just now finding a black glove. Now, again, I'm not saying or implicating that that law enforcement is involved in this, and I've heard some of that out there. A lot of people think maybe it is law enforcement that's involved. But listen, it is kind of weird, and this could just be people that are being dicks that are going out there and throwing gloves around. And, like this thing with TMZ today about the second letter. This could be someone that's just scamming to try to get money. Or this could be someone that's going out there and they're throwing a glove down to throw off the investigation. It could be some of this. Let's just do this. I want to recognize some new members, and I appreciate you for becoming a member. If you want to become a member of the channel, you can click that join button down below. My membership started at $1.99. Elizabeth, thank you so much for becoming a member. Let's see, Light 5, thanks for becoming a new member. We have Jenny, new member as well. Thank you. And Just Jules has been a member for a month, and she says, "Hey, I always appreciate you, Brian." Well, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you. All right, let's listen here.
That's a good point.
What went on down there? Thank you, Linda.
If it was found on her property, right, that would be a different thing. But if it was, think how many couple thousand people been through here, the last 11 days.
So the gentleman that got detained in Rio Rico, Carlos, what's your take on that? Do you think he's involved?
Man, after watching that interview right when you were right there, he seemed pretty, I believe him.
Thank you, Sophie. Good to see you.
I've had that reaction.
Mary,
like, hey, man, don't blame me.
Let me just pause the road. Mary, thank you for sending me the updates throughout the day. Your emails were very helpful. It kept me on track. It was great. I appreciate that. But yeah, so they found this glove, and I'm just going to pause the stream. We can go back live here in a second. We talked about TMZ this morning, the Bitcoin. And then we had this glove, this said glove that was popped up. And now I'm hearing this. This was 34 minutes ago. A ski mask was found 1 mile away from a Circle K with a Bitcoin ATM, just miles from Nancy Guthrie's home. And that was reported today. Nerdy ESQ, Nerdy Addict on X just reported that. Okay. Let's see. Fox News is saying clothing is evidence. FBI expert says the armed suspect backpack, tactical gear, and ski mask in Nancy Guthrie's surveillance footage are traceable through retail purchases. Investigators are canvassing sporting goods stores and online records to build a purchase. And we heard a lot about this in what case? What case did we follow here? The Idaho 4 case. They traced purchases. Sharon, thank you. Look at this. New, liked, and subbed. Thank you. Let's see. Elizabeth says, thank you for saying that. I've been screaming saying the Karen Reed taillight pieces all day. Glad to know that I'm in the right creator and the best community. Well, thank you for being here. But it is weird, right? And this could just be a bunch of people that know about this, and they're running around and they're messing with everybody right now. Okay. And they're just throwing out things because, listen, there's sickos out there that do this stuff. Or it could be people that are involved that are out there throwing this stuff around. These little pieces of evidence, the glove. Now we're hearing a report of a ski mask. And I want to get some more confirmation on that. So let me do this. I'm going to go back and play live here. I'm going to go to I'm going to look and see if I can get a confirmation on this ski mask, and we'll just listen in here while I check out that detail.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't have been able. And
let's see what Brian Enton is saying.
They had proof of him being in Rio Rico Saturday night.
Yeah, he had an alibi he provided. His stepmom was defending him.
People have phones and stuff, so it wouldn't be hard to say, oh yeah,
show your alibi right here. Here I am. Here's
Let me see if I can find a ski
boom,
mask.
Cleared. All right.
Look, he lost the bet, and he put a bet on. You can see he was at home.
He got a lawsuit
night.
though.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt if something, happens out of that.
So
thank you all for being here.
Whoever's close to him should start a GoFundMe to get a new door. Just the GoFundMe Carlos door or something.
The GoFundMe Carlos door.
Someone, but has to be close to the family that does it for him.
So they busted the door, huh? How much does the door cost?
Well, he said they busted the garage in the back or something. It wasn't just the door. It was a couple doors and, but next thing you know, he'll have $1 million door or something.
So,
okay, let's see.
Where do you think goes from here? Like, what do you think that's going to happen the next couple of days or tomorrow, or what's next? What do you think? What do you expect to see?
I think everybody's so emotionally invested that.
Let me just pause this. Well, I'm going to turn the sound out here. Okay, the man detained. This is from Nerdy Actor reporting 31 minutes ago on X. He's saying the man detained last night, Carlos, was taken into custody based on cell phone usage data and traffic analysis. So he was in and around. He had to have been in and around that area. I'm not seeing any confirmed reports about this ski mask. Okay, let's see this. What is this? Okay, let me read comments here. I'm going to play this.
4,000 tips that came in. I'm hoping.
So that was, I don't know if you guys could hear that. It was a call that came in today, and I'm gonna pull it up so you all can hear it. All right, hang on. Let me pull this up so you all can hear it. This was reported about an hour ago, and this call came in. Let's see. And again, I haven't seen any confirmed reports, but let's do this. I'm going to share it. I haven't seen any confirmed reports. I'll keep looking. And I think, this could be a distraction. Let's play this.
Going to be at 100 East 1st Avenue. Caller said she found a ski mask on the ground in the alley near her garage. It looks like the same mask the assailant was wearing in the Nancy Guthrie case.
Is this legitimate? Is it legitimate? Let's go out of this. We'll go back to JLR and we'll see what he has going on. Let's go back live here.
He brought me a Culver. Remember we said what the favorite burgers, whatever like that. So
Ryan Enton has not tweeted in 5 hours.
A Swiss burger. So
let's see what Pima Sheriff's Department.
I don't know what it looks like on here, but it is delicious. Thank you for the burger. I told him when this is all done, I'm going to take him out to dinner, do a recap, sign of relief. Hopefully she's found safe out here. But favorite burgers, Culver's. We love Culver's.
Okay, so I got Pima County Sheriff's Department about 8 hours ago. Said there's no press briefings or interviews scheduled at this time. Should a significant development occur, a press conference will be called and media will be notified via email, our Pima County Sheriff's X account. So they haven't said anything, but we do know that FBI was down there again today. And we also saw that there was a glove that was found, and that's now, kind of the topic of conversation. I also just played something about a ski mask that had been found. I can't confirm 100%. that ski mask is, the ski mask being found is legitimate. Let me see the chat here. Let's go back to the chat. Of course, my chat is frozen once again. Just says Brian Enton was there for sure. He passed JLR's Camry shortly before you went live. He does have a video up, and we could play through that. I'm gonna see if I can get this to unstick. It's kind of what I did last time. But he does have a video up that I did see, and maybe we can play through that because there's not much going on. Sassy says this is a big distraction and all done by design. Well, I mean, listen, I've heard those theories out there too. I mean, what are some of the most important things that are being talked about? And not to say that this case is not important, because they both are, but the Epstein file situation right now is huge. It's big topic of conversation. We had Pam Bondi up at the committee today. I was planning on doing a stream about that, but again, I just didn't have time to go through it because I worked, and I just didn't have enough time to go through it. So I didn't want to get on here on air and report about something and talk about something that I didn't have all of the correct information about it. So I definitely will be tackling that over the weekend and getting the straight facts and the clips for you guys so we can go through that. And we also have tons of data sets to go through as well too. I'm looking forward to going through that. And more information is coming out. So let's see. Yeah, Michelle says both can be true at the same time. That's my theory in all of this right now. That is my theory in all of this right now. That they're both true events that are going on. And they're both majorly unspeakable situations that are going on in our society right now. Monbel, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sophie, thank you so much. Thank you. Smash that like button. Yes. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. We're very, very close to hitting 58,000 subscribers tonight. And I'd love to hit over that mark. We're at 57,991 right now. If just a handful of you, if you're new here, please subscribe. Let's see. Savannah interviewed a woman who was at, yes, that's right. There is a connection to that. There is a connection to that. Let's see. Savannah interviewed a woman who was at an Epstein victim who wrote a book, Unalive Yourself, in Maxwell. Yeah, that was Giuffre. That was Giuffre. Last name Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre. G. And I do know about that too. So there's been a lot of theories about this. There has been a lot of theories about that. Viper says, thanks for being so good about covering this. Of course. Yeah, I saw John DePietro down there. And I did see John DePietro. I did see him. All right, let's go back. Let's get some sound. I'm going to work on the ski mask
So
here.
There's some ones.
And the sheriff department just showed up again. I don't see anything about the confirmed ski mask. So I just don't want to. I don't want to 100% confirm that yet.
Things like, remember some of the mine disasters and building collapses and things, and people be pulled out a week later.
Yeah, and that's why the hope for Nancy is kind of, if she was able to come home, that would be.
All right, real quick, I gotta talk about this too. One of my viewers last night, when they're in the chat, said that, hey, look at the backpack. And let me pull this photo up. And this was actually a really good observation by one of my viewers. If you look at the backpack is full. Why would someone that's going into a home to potentially to burglarize or whatever, come in with this full backpack, full gear backpack? That was really odd. Yeah, the backpack is full. So why is this backpack full? I didn't really hear many people talking about that, but my viewer pointed that out last night. And I said, hey, that's a good point. It's something that I didn't notice before. And hopefully authorities picked up on that and saw that as well. Listen, we only have 1,500 people watching and only 170 likes. We got to get that ratio up. Can you guys just smash the like button? It's free to do that. It's super free to do that. Yeah, and Ryan saying full of clothes, towel, full of nothing, man. Well, it could be. You never know. Could be tape, could be zip ties, could be any of that. Any of those. Yeah, let's get those likes up. It's free to do that. If we can get to, let's just say that we can get to 1,000 likes, I'll drop some free memberships in the chat. We'll give you guys some free memberships. Let's do that. Let's get this up to 1,000 likes. All right, let's go back to JLR. I'm going to keep working on looking about this report of a ski mask.
We crossed
know about the glove.
500,000, and I wasn't aware of that. And you guys brought that to my attention. I was very grateful and shocked for that. And we do what we do.
Let's see. I'm gonna go
we do
to
appreciate
the
everyone that subscribed over the years, navigate through the craziness, continue to cover, and that's what we do. So that's very grateful, humbled, grateful.
Still need to work on getting those likes up,
and we will continue to grow.
please.
We are the future when it comes to these type of things, right? Getting to the scene and doing just lives, and the way we do things, and I have no doubt that we will grow strong over 1 million one day, keep on growing. And
yeah, my dream is to get to at least 100,000. I would love 100,000 subscribers. I really would. I'd love to get that silver play button on, my wall someday. That's a very big goal of mine. And I think that LTL Media can obviously hit that milestone. I'm hoping to hit it by the end of this year. With all the hard work and the subscribers that have come over, the members, the people that support LTL Media, and that we keep this trend going, because I think that we can be one of these outlets as well too. All right, I don't see any updates from TMZ, and I do want to say, really sad story today. James Vanderbeek has died at 48 years old with a long battle of, I think it was colon cancer. And may he rest in peace. It was awful seeing that today. I know he made some small appearances, just before his passing. He was making some small public appearances. Looked just very, very, ill, and just such a horrible thing to see that happen today. So James Vanderbeek has passed away at 48 years old. And it's just crazy because I sit here and, in March, I'm going to be 48 years old, and it's just very sad. All right, let's listen here.
we welcome all opinions.
Thank
We're
you,
all
Linda.
adults.
Smash
Hopefully
that
we're all
like
adults.
button. Let's get up to 1,000 likes. I'll drop some free
in your
members.
teenage years and you're watching and fascinated with true crime and what's going on. That's cool too. Welcome aboard wherever you might be.
I heard you're from Tampa. I didn't know what city.
I live in the Tampa area.
Did you ever hear of or ever met Bubba?
So we have JLR on the scene. He's the one that's doing the talking.
Back in the day when he was on with
Let's see if we have any updated news.
Seems like a cool city though, right, Tampa?
Welcome in, everybody.
Nice.
Smash that like button when you come in.
Tropical
We get to
feel.
1,000 likes. I'm going to smash.
Particularly
I'm gonna
winter,
smash.
hot summer, but it's
I'm
water, a
gonna
lot of
drop
water,
some free memberships.
palm trees and sun. It's a big psyop. Look out over while we do this over here. So what has Trump been up to? What is going on in other countries like Cuba and elsewhere?
Really, and that's the main question.
So
Okay,
I've been
let's go
hearing
to
that
this.
a lot. Distraction.
Let's go to this. I'm gonna pause.
Side.
We'll keep JLR stream up. I want to hear Harvey Levin talk about this said other note that came in today. Let's listen to this. This was earlier today.
Authorities are looking at just that. So these three things, the backpack, the gloves, and the gun, are things that they're particularly interested in. And again, if somebody goes into a Home Depot, say,
Let's listen to
and they
this.
buy one of these items, even if they pay
Thank
cash,
you, Amanda. Thanks for
they
being.
have records of who bought, of when it was purchased. And then you look at the surveillance video and you say who picked it out off the shelf.
I think it was
took the cash
Dawson's Creek,
register.
Jay
And that's
Boogie.
the way a lot of crimes are solved. And I know
Was
that's
he
one of the
Dawson's
things
Creek?
law enforcement
Yeah.
is trying to do right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, as you said, you don't know when they bought the backpack, but obviously Walmart will cooperate, right? I mean, they can see every single one of those Ozark Trailblazer backpacks when they were bought, where they
Yeah,
were bought.
Dawson's Creek.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
one of these things could end up being very significant. We
So
don't know.
sad.
All right, and Harvey, just one quick thing, just to triple check here. The account last night that the money was wired into, the original one.
Yeah,
you
let's
haven't seen
listen to
anything
this.
new in that one, right? Breaking news, law enforcement has identified the specific type of backpack worn by the person captured on Nancy Guthrie's surveillance camera. That is according to TMZ founder Harvey Levin, who just shared that with us moments ago. And it comes as FBI agents are searching again near Nancy Guthrie's home. CNN crew saw them this
earlier
afternoon,
today.
specifically the land along the road where her home is located. And as you can see, there's thick brush and cacti along that stretch, as you see here. Out front now is Laura Gargano. She is Nancy Guthrie's neighbor and has lived near Nancy's home for 11 years. Laura, what a bizarre and frightening situation that you and all of your neighbors are living through right now, and just to even imagine
There's
what
an
you're going
echo
through.
going on in the podcast.
They're looking, I know, around your home. They're talking.
All right, hang on one second. I've got an echo going on.
Laura.
There we go.
I noticed this morning, thank you for inviting me.
Hang on one second. Something going on with my live stream here. Let's go back here for a moment.
For the Guthries that were here. Family. Oh, are you talking about the people that came here and left?
No, it was just one guy. He was real quick. It was really like a whole bunch of people would have loved to get this interview, and I just happened to get up there.
Yeah, just put it to the side here, or here. You want to spin it around? Maybe you can see. Hold on, we got right here. Maybe they can see it. If they can't see it, nah. Go it the other way. Here,
All right.
like put it in front of the camera. Maybe that will work.
It's a strange feeling to walk down here.
Got volume.
You know the Guthries, and
Start that.
just to walk. It's a strange.
All right, let's
feeling
listen to
walk
this.
down here. And, we know the Guthries, and just to walk down here and put this down here, get a little emotional. So
Starts crying.
yeah, it's not really. It's just unknown and not knowing what happened to Nancy. And my wife and her family grew up with Savannah and Annie, so they know the Guthries well. My mother-in-law was right over there, so it gets pretty close to home.
Yeah.
Pretty sad. Yeah. So that's all I really got to say. Thank you.
So he like knows them,
Yeah, his
but
wife,
not necessarily family, but he knows them.
yeah, his wife, his mother-in-law, lives right here. He said,
Gotcha.
and then his wife grew up with.
Give me a second here. I'm getting some echo. I don't know why I am, but I'm going to close down my browser here. I think it's because my StreamYard's acting up. All right. Hopefully that fixed the echo. All right, let me bring up my browser again. I just had to shut everything down. I apologize. Again, smash that like button. I need to see some likes in the chat. If we can get to 1,000 likes, I'm going to drop a bunch of memberships, some free memberships for people. And okay, I think I stopped the echo problem. Again, my chat is frozen. That's fun. Welcome to LTL Media, where the chat freezes every night. We'll go back to JLR. I'm going to look at X and see if there's any update. I haven't seen Brian Enton do any updating. I haven't seen him do any update tweets in about 4 or 5 hours. Probably sleeping. The guy's been working relentlessly nonstop. And I give him massive amounts of credit. He did a video about an hour ago. Maybe we'll play his video. He was down there a couple of hours ago. Let me see. So what do you think? I have the poll at the top of the chat, okay? And I'm serious about this. Do you think this is the work of a professional, or do you think it's work of an amateur?
Bald guy, kind of.
Honestly, I mean, it would be crazy to see
Yeah.
this the work of an amateur that is
many people
out
think he's
doing law enforcement and the FBI. How embarrassing is that? How embarrassing would that be?
He's not the suspect.
Yeah, I don't believe.
What do
We
you
don't wanna
think?
ruin some guy's life here. just
No,
'cause he
whenever
can't
there's
get
Leave
news
out.
like this,
A
somebody
1 in
comes
the
out,
chat
talks to people,
if you
that's the
think this is an
guy.
amateur. If you
So,
think it's a
yeah, Jason
professional,
is not-
put a 2 in the chat. Let me see those 1s and 2s. What do you think? Kate from Facebook saying, I call bullshit on all of this. A lot of 1s. Amateur. We have a lot of amateur. Definitely 1. I mean, are they really pulling this? Are they pulling this on the FBI? Are they duping the FBI right now? Are they duping local law enforcement? Jay Boogie, I gotta set Jay Boogie up with a wrench. Jay Boogie, getting a wrench. Let those 1s and 2s fly. 2com number 2. Let's look at Brian Enton's video from today, because there's not really anything. There's no action right now in and around. All right, 2 hours ago, Brian Enton released a video. Let's go over Brian Enton's video, and I'll keep an eye here on the live feed. So let's do that, and I'll keep searching through X and seeing if we can get any updates. And that's usually what we do. So we'll play Brian Enton here in the background. And let me turn this on.
I really, really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Of course, still in Tucson, Arizona, outside Nancy Guthrie's house right here.
So that's a great question, 505. 505 is asking, and I have to look up because my chat's frozen. 505 is asking, is there ring footage of Nancy being taken? We don't know. That's the thing. Maybe that's something authorities are not showing at this time. You know, maybe that's something authorities are not showing at this time. It is possible. It is possible that there is, and they're kind of keeping this under the vest because they don't want to let too much information out, right? But giving the best information and putting all that information out there obviously would what? It would help. It would help the public. But again, I mean, just like Karen said, the FBI is not going to tell us. You know, they're going to hold things to their vest. All right. If you're just coming in, please make sure to smash the like button. I want to get to 1,000 likes. If we get to 1,000 likes, I'm going to drop a bunch of free memberships in the chat tonight. So let's do that. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I think we just passed 58,000 tonight on the channel, and I appreciate all of you for that. We have. So thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's listen to Brian Enton. He was just down there a couple of hours ago. I don't know if we recorded this earlier and they released it a couple of hours ago, but it will give you probably the most updated information. I'm going to keep my eye on the live feeds that are down there. And if we have anything, I'll immediately jump to that. Renee, thank you so much. She says, I love your channel. Happy for you. And I have happy I found you. I've subscribed. Thank you. Brenda, thank you for the 1 gifted membership. My chat on StreamYard has been frozen the last 3 nights. All right, let's play
all the media
Brian Enton
across
here.
the street. There's been a lot going on over the last 12 hours or so that I want to get to. First of all, law enforcement was back at Annie Guthrie's house just a little while ago. Right now, it's gosh, I'm losing track of my days. It's Wednesday, depending on when you're watching this story or watching this this episode. They were back at Annie Guthrie's house. There were 2 law enforcement agents that showed up in a gray SUV. They went inside the house. They came outside the house with latex gloves on, and they were holding a brown bag. They were not in the house for long. And then they also went and got mail out of the mailbox, again, wearing the gloves, and then they left. So it was not like what we saw on Saturday night where they were there for 3 hours and we saw pictures being taken inside. That wasn't the case. It was quick. They went in, they had gloves on, they came out with a brown bag, and then they also checked the mail. So that is the latest development that happened at Annie's house. The FBI today is reporting that they are going to be doing ground searches along roadways in the Catalina foothills around where Nancy and Annie live. And when I was out at Annie's house yesterday and I saw the FBI going door to door, they asked one of the neighbors for permission to search. And then the neighbor said, well, what are you looking for? And they said something that may have been dropped, which makes me think,
Chad is back.
When you look back at those pictures of the suspect, what he was wearing, then the mask, the backpack, the gloves, all that, are they looking to see if something was maybe thrown out of a car window? Because we know today the search is specifically directed along roadways. So that's the latest from the FBI. Pima County Sheriff's Office says that there will be no updates today, no briefings unless there's a development, which kind of surprised me in light of what happened last night. You guys remember they had that person detained who has since been let go. I raced out an hour away from Tucson, very, very close to the Mexico border. I went like, I shouldn't say this, but I was going like 100 miles an hour trying to get there when I got the tip that they had this person detained. There was a federal search.
That's what you do when you're a boots on the ground reporter. I mean, you are humming along because you want to get there and get the story. You want to get your camera guy there. You know, Brian has a camera guy, but I remember those days of like, being in and around the courthouse when I was down on the ground at the Karen Reed case, and like you're running to get the footage. Karen would be walking to court. We were running behind her with our cameras to get that footage. Or just you hear a tip or something and you're running all over the place when this happens. Karen, thank you so much. $10 super chat says, love, love, love when you do lives, Brian. You were extremely missed when you were taking a break. Yes, I'm back. I'm bad. We're going to get this channel moving along again. And, just trying to keep up on all these cases that are, big time national, cases that really, people are very invested in. I mean, this has been going on over a week now, and then on top of that, and I don't want to lose track of it. I don't want to lose track of the Epstein files. That's a very important case that I want to take on here and I want to talk about, and we're going to pick it apart and hold people accountable. And I talked about this, and I want to make sure that people understand this when you come in and watch my coverage of the Epstein files, that I don't care. I don't care about political affiliation. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. If your name is implicated in those files and your name is tied to very horrible criminal activities and there is strong evidence against you that you were involved in it, then you need to be held accountable and you need to be brought through the court system. And then if you are convicted, you need to be eliminated from society. I don't care if you are the president. I don't care if you're a high-powered CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I don't care if you're the heir to the fortunes around the world. If you're involved in those files and there's criminal activity that you took part in, bye-bye. See you later. Eliminated from society. You should go away for the rest of your life. I don't want to see you. Goodbye. We'll put you on the island. If you want to be on the island, we'll exile you. We'll call Epstein Island Exile Island, and we'll just put them all there. Goodbye. I don't want to see you. You shouldn't be in our society, because if you're hurt and you're harmed underage girls and children, I don't want to see your face anymore. And I don't care if all these people go to jail at the same time and we have this huge collapse. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And I think that's what the fucking fear in all of this is right now, that they are so afraid that there's so many people that are involved in high-powered positions. Like, oh God, what if we lose all these people all at once? Who fucking cares? Stop protecting them and redact the names and put them out. I don't care. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. It should be all out on the table. It's been too long that all these victims have had to stand on the sidelines here and listen to all this hidden information and and not talking about this. This is the time now in our society that we need to bring this out. 100%. 100%. And we will talk more about that.
Warrant that was being executed at the house.
Let's listen a little bit about
the family members of the guy were like, there's no way he's involved in Nancy Guthrie. We don't know about the case. He wasn't out of town last weekend. He doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. And I talked to them, and come to find out a few hours later, he was released He was detained and then released, and it appears he has nothing to do with the case, although we'll have to see. I mean, they must have had something in that search warrant to be able to go search the house and detain him. So I'll stay on top of that, try to figure out how all of that sorts out today. But again, I was hoping there'd be some kind of press briefing from the sheriff, and that doesn't appear like it's going to happen. I want to go to Kurt Dabb, who is was a longtime homicide detective here in Pima County, to help me break down these latest developments, especially what happened last night with this man being detained, and sort of what he thinks about where things are going to go from here. What do you make of what happened last night? I mean, we raced down to, near the Mexico border. They had him detained, and then now he walked out. What do you think happened there?
I don't know what leads specifically led them, to that individual. Extremely grateful for the technology that, the FBI has to recover some video, and I'm hoping that they have other video that they're holding back. Yeah, it was a complete surprise to me. I saw the detention last night. I went to bed and woke up this morning and praying, that it was the suspect, and then, that individual was released. So what, often.
Okay, let me pause this. This was reported an hour ago. Let's look at this. Let's see. Militia Marshall is saying just after 3 p.m., and that would be 3 p.m. Central, at least four FBI agents conducted another search near Nancy Guthrie's home. It created quite a media spectacle. Dozens of news crews were following them, recording every move. The agents came and went out in about 20 minutes and went up and down both sides of the street at the desert and the brush in the neighborhood. It doesn't appear they found anything, but this was expected today. The FBI released a statement this morning saying that extensive searches were planned in the Catalina foothills area. Interesting. I still have not heard any confirmed reports about a ski mask being found. Now, we heard a call earlier that was put out there. And again, this could be a hoax. This could be someone just, messing with all of us. So I haven't seen any confirmed reports on that right now. Let's see. Let me go to, I'm going to play this.
Homicide investigations, you have to follow leads as they come in. Earlier in our other interview, I spoke about you have to start working that circle outwards, right? And I mentioned Uber drivers, delivery drivers. So I'm guessing that's what that individual was. I listened to his interview. He may or may not have delivered a package in that area. So it's good to see that they're following up on the investigation, on the leads. And with a situation like this, you know that the bad guy was armed because you saw it on the camera. So we, and law enforcement, we formally, but they have to take precautions. So it didn't surprise me the amount of individuals and the type of units that they use for this detention.
Real quick. So Brian Enton had video 3 hours ago. FBI were back at Nancy Guthrie's front yard, and they were searching. Looked like they were doing a type of grid search through the front yard. All right, let's play here.
But that's what happens. Leads are going to pan out and they're not going to pan out. So you have to suss everyone out.
You're welcome, Travis.
In your experience, they did a search warrant at the house. They had him detained. They got him at a traffic stop. They took him back to headquarters.
Karen, thanks
for
the
that
five.
Indicated that
Appreciate
they
you.
Thought they had something significant. I mean, you don't just do that to every other Uber driver, right?
Yeah, no, you're not just gonna detain somebody and transport them back somewhere. But again, they were following up on a lead, and I think we can extrapolate from what's been going on that he was a delivery driver. He may or may not have been in that area. I'm assuming he probably was. They're just not. I used to tell bad guys this all the time. Look, I didn't just pick your name out of a phone book randomly, right? So he was a delivery driver, was in the neighborhood, and they were following up on the lead on a potentially armed and dangerous individual.
What's your sense on where things stand now? Because I don't know, one of my buddies in the FBI was saying we don't ever, and he's not involved in this case, but he was saying we don't like to release photos. Like if the FBI is releasing photos, it means that they actually need help.
Yeah. And it's the same way with the sheriff's department. If we're tracking, a suspect, you can look at it either way, right? You can put, if you have a suspect and you have a photograph, you're more than likely going to have eyes on that individual, meaning you're going to be surveilling him. And a lot of times they'll release something in the media to garner an action out of the individual that they're looking for. Whether or not that was the case last night, I'm not sure. But, you know, that's what it is.
Do you think, because he was pulled over not far from where he lived,
okay.
I found out when I was out there, do you think that means that he was under surveillance? Like, would you think they had eyes on him before this and then something happened where they decided, let's get him?
I'm assuming so, yes.
All right, let me pause real quick. Yeah, let's get to 1,000 likes. We get to 1,000 likes. I'm going to drop some free memberships for everybody in here. Free Kelsey says $10. Hey, Brian, just joining. Have you talked about the new ransom note that they got today? Yeah, that was reported by Harvey Levin this morning. Early this morning, I saw that report. Maybe 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, maybe just a little after that. And it was this ransom note that came in, and they said that they had the name of the kidnapper, but the way to get the name of the kidnapper was to receive 1 Bitcoin, and that 1 Bitcoin at the time would have been worth about $67,000. So I haven't heard in reports if this has been flushed out, but you got to keep in mind in these situations that there could be a lot of people that are, you know, playing a hoax right now. You know, earlier when I first came live, we heard something about a ski mask. I haven't heard any confirmed reports about that, but I did hear about a tweet. We do know that the glove that they found today is confirmed. So that has been confirmed by a lot of major mainstream news outlets, that it has been confirmed that they did find a glove. But now you have to go back and say, is this someone placing a glove? Because this has been over a week now, and law enforcement goes back and they find a glove. So I hope people aren't doing that. I hope people aren't doing that in the area and going around and doing this and, you know, trying to muck up this investigation, because it doesn't add any, you know, true value to what's going on. So we got to 1,000 likes. That's awesome. Let's drop in some free memberships for everybody tonight. Let me do that for you guys. I promised you some free memberships. I'm going to gift in some memberships. Let's give away 10 new memberships tonight. Here we go. Drop in 10 new memberships and welcome in new members. So if you get a membership, that's 1 month on me. And all I ask this, the end of the month, you can sign back up for $1.99. That's it. $1.99 supports this channel monthly. So welcome in, everybody. SJ Howard's got one. Mama's got one. Candy Kitten. Lindsay's got one. Kathleen's got one. I'm trying to read these quick. Grammy's got one. Awesome. Spencer just bought a membership. Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate that. Oh, you're welcome, SJ Howard. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. All right, let's go back to Brian Enton.
Because just because you have a
any
named
new live
individual
update
that you're looking into,
take a look.
And again, you know, this person at that time was an investigative lead. So you can't just out of the blue decide to go drive somewhere and hope that the individual is going to be where you think they're going to be. So
okay, I have some updates here. CBS News reports Nancy Guthrie. Let's see. Live updates from the FBI searches roadways. Investigators get over 4,000 calls, 4,000 new tips that have come in today within the last 24 hours. So let's see this. What to know about the search for Nancy Guthrie. So today, over 4,000 calls have been made to the tip line for Arizona Sheriff Department investigating the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie in the last 24 hours. 4,000 new tips have come in, officials said on Wednesday. The FBI said agents were conducting an extensive search along the roadway in part of Tucson where Guthrie lives. Now we go back to the detainment of the man Carlos yesterday, a man who said he was detained in the investigation Tuesday night, and that was late Tuesday night, has been released. He told reporters early Wednesday, I didn't do anything, I'm innocent. But I heard there was reports that they took his phone, or they at least went in and extracted his phone. Nancy Guthrie, 84, mother of today's show co-host Savannah Guthrie, has been missing since February 1st. It's the 11th day, I'm sorry. Authorities believe She was abducted over the night. Of course, we've seen the video. Let's see details about the FBI search near the roadway. And this was at 7:15 p.m. So this is about an hour and a half ago. The FBI said on Wednesday they were conducting an extensive search of the nearby roadway where Nancy Guthrie went missing. Authorities were focusing on the roads, washes and pull-offs between Nancy Guthrie's home and any major roadway leading to Tucson. They've also canvassed nearby gas stations and pulling surveillance video from surrounding neighborhoods. Investigators were also following up to as many to 1,000 tips that have come in, 4,000 tips that have come in the last 24 hours. The neighborhood where Nancy Guthrie lives sits in an area with a lot of thick brush and long, winding, narrow streets. There's a considerable distance between houses in the neighborhood. There are also no streetlights because the local laws aim to cut down on light pollution. So that was at 7:15. 7:15. But that's interesting. I haven't heard this yet. They also pulled surveillance video from surrounding neighborhoods. That's good. So we're getting some more videos.
Assume that they had some type of
maybe we get some new videos tonight.
The FBI brought in a bunch more people yesterday or the day before. You know, maybe it was FBI information that they were acting on, contacted the sheriff's department, said, hey, you know, let's roll. I don't know if that's what the case was, but it possibly could be.
Do you think that there could be other people under surveillance right now? What does your gut tell you?
Karen said I should play the interview with Lana TNT with Carlos.
You know, just my guess.
Yep,
like
I want
to
watch Brian Enton.
And theories are like, you know, everyone has one. So your theory is as good as mine. And I'm just hoping that, you know, I'm hoping they have information that they haven't released yet that they're utilizing to further the investigation, whether it's surveillance, whether it's like yesterday walking around, you know, picking up or doing an article search. That's what they were doing. They were looking for an article of something that maybe the kidnapper had discarded. So
we were told last night out there that the sheriff had been there. He was gone by the time we got there.
Been
to the place where they Rio Rico. Yeah, okay. Rio Rico. Is that significant? I mean,
no, and I'm sorry that I laughed, but when you're a detective working a case or you're an officer working a case, the last thing that you want is to have the sheriff show up at any case, and especially a homicide, because media is always involved. And
I'm going to pause this real quick. Coming in an hour ago from Nick the Hat, says sources close to Nancy Guthrie kidnapping investigation tell me that the FBI has made, quote, great progress and is deploying additional tactical units to assist over the next several days. That doesn't really it doesn't make me feel that this is going to be solved tonight. And if this report is confirmed and true, assist over the next several days. I don't like that. The source noted that the White House, quote, wants this case solved at all costs. I'm pretty sure they do. And I don't like the fact that there hasn't been a news conference update. The last news conference update was 7 days ago from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Why are they not out there? And at least informing the public. It's been very quiet, very, very quiet. I think it would be proper to get out there in front of the people, in front of the public, and at least give them an idea of a sense of where this investigation is at this point. We haven't seen anything. Just give the public something to make them feel, you know, a little bit more comfortable about their environment where they are. You know, are they tracking leads? Give an update. This is a timeline. This is an updated timeline. And these are things that we have found, and we have sourced new, new camera footage from surrounding neighborhoods. Well, what's on what is on that camera footage you're looking at? Let the public know. Chris, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, and I welcome all of the new members. I appreciate that. So that's what we need. We need a little bit more transparency here. Update the public. Let's hear something.
Trying to conduct let's go back to Brian. That is done by the book, step by step. And when you have the sheriff come out there, that causes a lot of duress on the detectives, and officers and deputies that are investigating. So I think it's a little bit weird, but he's the sheriff. He can, show up wherever he wants.
The search that we saw yesterday near Annie's house, like all the FBI agents going in the yards, and then they just put out another release, the FBI did, that they're going to be searching along roadways.
All right, I'm sorry to keep pausing this, but I want to keep you guys up to date with news that I'm seeing. 2 hours ago, Fox True Crime reports law enforcement is working with an official description of the masked figure captured by Guthrie's Nest camera, but there's no timeline for when it will be released publicly, Fox Digital News has learned. Also, I have another report from Mary Coleman on X. Mary reports, says law enforcement source close to Guthrie's investigation say they are familiar with the brand of backpack the suspect was wearing, possibly an Ozark trail hiker, and are looking into it in other brands. Well, that's good news, because if they know the brand of this backpack, what can they do? They can start now going to retail stores and seeing if there's been some recent purchases of this particular backpack. That was also something that was pointed out with the holster that was in front. This amateur looking kidnapper or suspect had this holster, and they can go to nearby gun shops and see, has this particular brand of holster or this holster that looks like this has been sold. You can start tracing back receipts and credit card purchases. So there's that. All right, let's go back to
in
Brian.
This area.
I'm going to go full screen for a
indicate?
second. I'll be right back.
Does it indicate anything?
That's what they're doing an article search. So what they're trying to prove or disprove, confirm or disprove, is that the individual may have discarded a pair of gloves as they're driving away, right? You can picture someone driving away and discarding clothing. I mean, that individual looked like to me, it looked like he had a couple of jackets on. It definitely appeared that he had more than one pair of latex gloves, which leads me to believe that he was extremely careful in concealing his DNA. So what they're doing with the article search is walking up and down the roadway, probably, 50 feet on either side of the roadway, just to see if there's anything in there. What struck me was that they were doing it back in Nancy and or Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood. It was like right after the video came out, then next thing you know, there's 25, 50 law enforcement officials doing an article search. So I was curious what prompted that.
It may be not a coincidence.
It might not be. But again, I had mentioned the brother-in-law before. Again, it's that inner circle. You have to prove or disprove. And as the sheriff said, the last press conference nearly a week ago, everybody is a suspect. So
well, we need a new update.
I don't know. I don't know if they had any information to cause them to go back there.
Are you surprised we haven't seen the sheriff in?
I'm surprised that there
was.
I'm surprised there was not a press conference last night or this morning by the sheriff, because he said on Facebook or on the sheriff's webpage, if there are any significant activities, or we're not going to have a press conference till there's significant activity. Well, I think last night was a significant amount of activity.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an indication the FBI is in control?
Whether or not they're in control, I don't know. Is it an indicator of them being in control? You could say yes, but you could also say no, because realistically, that this is not an FBI case. We don't have any proof that this alleged kidnapping crossed state lines, which would in fact turn it into a federal case. So as far as I know right now, the sheriff's department is running the investigation, but those three letters do hold some weight. So it's possible.
In your experience working cases, I mean, we're 11 days in. What does that mean? I mean, what does this window mean? Does it get more difficult? Is it not a good sign that it's been really almost 2 weeks now?
Yeah. Well, I was having a conversation yesterday about this very thing. As the days progress, you're going to run out of leads unless stuff keeps coming in. So with the release of that video, obviously it's going to generate leads for, the next couple of days.
Oh, okay. Wait, I have a report here. I have a report 14 minutes ago. Let's see this. Matt Colson TV on X says per Pima County Sheriff to KOLD, which is a local station there in Arizona, 2 black gloves were recovered during their search today. We were told the search was prompted by a surveillance video. So that's probably some of the video that they got in that area around these gas stations. Because what did we just talk about a couple of minutes ago? That they were out sourcing new, in the neighborhoods, and they were sourcing new video. It says, we were told the search was prompted by surveillance video and the gloves are being tested for DNA. So new report, and I'm going to read it again. If you're just coming in here, make sure to smash that like button. Per Pima Sheriff to KOLD, 2 black gloves were recovered during the search today. We were told the search was prompted by surveillance video and the gloves are being tested for DNA. Okay, that's great. That's a good thing. Very, very good. Let me get to these really quick. Chris, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. NH Dude, thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. 5 gifted, all raining tons of memberships tonight. Chris said you just broke 58,000 subscribers by several hundred, right? Congrats. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Steve, thank you so much. NH Dude, great guy, moderator, friend of the channel, friend of me. 5 gifted. I appreciate that. Raining memberships tonight. I love it. All these brand new members. Let's see. What do we got? We have a frozen chat again on my side. All right, let's play Brian. Let me see if I can score some new information for you guys.
Absent any new leads, look, the sheriff's department, you know, we have a county that's bigger than, you know, 3 or 4 states. You can't keep everybody focused on that investigation. So initially it was a lot of individuals involved from different units within the sheriff's department, different detective units, patrol units, a lot of people working overtime, but you can't do that in perpetuity. You have to shrink the amount of manpower, and that's going to be based on the amount of leads. So once that manpower gets, you know, keeps shrinking and it's basically down to just the homicide unit, you know, that's when cases go cold.
Well, maybe with the FBI.
I just tweeted at Brian Enton. So this report, I tagged him in this because about the gloves and the DNA being tested. I just tagged Brian because Brian's down there. So Brian, what are you hearing? Anything on the ski mask? We heard about this ski mask. I can't trade. I don't see anything about the ski mask, but there are other people in this comments section that's asking about a ski mask being found. So let's
more people in. That'll help.
Maybe
sort of alleviate that.
Maybe, but again, it's not their case. It's not their investigation yet. They can't just come over, you know, come in like the movies and, you know, take over a
I agree,
case.
man.
They have to have jurisdiction. And as far as I know right now, they don't have any jurisdiction. I'm extremely grateful, and I'm sure the family is as well, and all of America, that FBI is assisting with the technological aspects, because they're able to do things that we can't even fathom. So I hope that they're continuing with the videos. I would like to see more video. If they have a clearer picture, you know, put it out, because that's going to generate leads. Because once the leads stop coming in, the task force is going to shrink, and the case is going to go cold. So by releasing more information is the only way to keep the case going.
And just lastly, Kash Patel said last night that they have, he used plural, like multiple people that
persons of interest,
which I guess would go back to what you said, that there's probably different avenues.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, you start in that inner circle. You start with the family, you start with any caregivers. Did they have any work done on the house? You know, the Uber driver, how many Uber drivers? So there's a lot of people that they can interview. I think they've done a pretty good job of canvassing the neighborhoods. If someone in the neighborhood would have seen something, I'm sure by now, you know, they would have said something.
And one other thing I thought of, a lot of people have been asking me, they're like, are people scared in Tucson? Are people in the neighborhood scared? And it's been my kind of feeling that they're not.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
I don't think anybody's scared, you know, up here. This is not something that occurs all the time. You know, I don't think that there's any concern for the general public based on this one individual case. It appears that it's isolated. the idiot that was at the door walking up. I mean, he looked like a buffoon. I know previously, you know, I said, this is a, you know, I think a professional deal, and it still may be, but that individual that walked up to the door and tried to cover the camera, he was completely unprepared, but he was extremely comfortable. He wasn't looking around, you know, he was extremely comfortable being there, almost like he knew that there was nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's a good point. He wasn't darting around and looking behind a million times to see if anyone was driving by.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a normal home invasion where, you know, guys, you know, multiple individuals are coming to a door with guns and, you know, kicking doors and battering rams or hammers or pry bars.
Okay, let me just report this for you guys. Breaking 36 minutes ago, TMZ reports, and I hate the fact that TMZ is part of this. TMZ reports that the masked suspect's backpack has been identified as a Walmart brand bag. So it's been identified as a Walmart brand bag. Let's see. Paul Diamoro reports that the investigators may have also narrowed down the brand of the sweatshirt and shoes that the kidnapper had on. Let's see. There's a quote. I saw something today that makes me believe that they may have identified the sweatshirt he's wearing. There's also speculation about the shoes, two possible brands that gives you a lot of cross-referencing potential. So they have identified the bag. Okay, it's a Walmart brand bag. This is good because now they can just go to Walmart and guess what? Because if this was just purchased for the crime, okay, it was purchased for the crime, they can go in and start pulling tape or looking at people that come in, and maybe this you know, person of interest has the same gait or walk of someone that went into this Walmart and purchased these things. They can check the cameras. Did someone go into Walmart and pick up and get this type of bag? Did they buy these particular type of shoes? Did they buy the sweatshirt all at the same time? And they said there's possibility that the sweatshirt and shoes have also been identified. So this is good news.
He didn't have anything. What I would like to know is how he got inside the house. That's a huge key, huge question for me.
Anything else, Allison?
No, I mean, I'm just wanted to say, did you, from what you have been hearing, have you heard anything that last night's operation was mostly conducted by the FBI?
Yeah, I did hear some information from some contacts that I have that last night, you know, was an FBI garnered the information and set the movement into action, and utilizing the sheriff's department SWAT team and, you know, other agencies to help.
Margaret, thanks for the support.
So,
you go squad member. Thank you.
Not that the FBI has control, but, you know, if they come up with something, because they're working the technological or the technical aspect of it, they may have information and it's actionable and it needs to be worked on right now. So they may have said, hey, this is what we got. Let's go. And they mounted up the troops and rolled out.
Hey, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate Kurt for talking with me. I actually hear a helicopter right now, which is basically the sheriff's office helicopter has been in this area a lot, searching. It's so sunny out today, by the way, and hot today. So it's tough.
Steelers Nation, thank you. Says I happened to come across your channel and I just subscribed, my friend. Well, thank you. New subscribers. Look at this. Brand new people coming in. Make sure to smash that like button when you come in. I would appreciate it. And we'll get back to Brian Enton in a minute. I'm watching the live feed on the ground. Let's see. JLR looks, he might be going back to his hotel. All seems pretty quiet down at the Guthrie residence. Let me check another feed here. I'm going to play Brian Enton while I look at some of the other feeds and see if we can get any other information that's going on. Here we go. We'll play this
for these search crews out here in the desert, and there's a lot of them now. Again, I told you more FBI agents have been showing up. I also met up with Rick Castigar. He is the former undersheriff here in Pima County. He was there for 40 plus years working for the Pima County Sheriff's Office. And he has been a great resource because he knows the area very, very well. He knows the landscape very, very well. And he has some interesting theories about why he believes Nancy Guthrie is still alive. He took me on a drive around this area near Nancy's house.
I really hope.
So I wanted to, I think he's got a lot of good insight, so I wanted to introduce you guys to him.
Interestingly, Savannah began here in her career working for KVOA, the NBC affiliate here, and she was fresh out of college. She's an attorney as well. She went to the U of A here. And when she cut her teeth in Tucson, and she and I interacted dozens of times on stories that were going on involving the sheriff's department.
So you know Savannah.
Oh, sure.
So that must make this even more.
It makes it. I was so happy for her making it big. Local kid makes it big. It was really nice to see.
Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you.
For her. She's such a sweetheart. And
all these new people. Thank you, Made in America. Thank you so much.
Caring,
appreciate you.
Deferential, compassionate in what she does. Just a neat lady. So one of the things I see or saw that happened was this sheriff's department, which
Fox 5. Let's see if we can find it.
But it's my opinion that once they knew that this was not an individual who walked away and might have succumbed to the desert, once they knew this was an abduction or a kidnapping.
Just let me know, is that Fox 5 in New York? What Fox 5 is that? Because all I see is I'm looking at Fox 5 New York, and it's a live shot of the White House. What Fox 5 is that? A lot of new people tonight. It's nice to see everybody. Make sure, new to the page, thanks for all your great content. Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate you. We try to do as much real-time updating as we can. And I'm just trying to source out a bunch of stuff. What Fox 5 is that? The Fox 5 New York is just a live shot of the White House. Tucson, thank you. Because I immediately Googled Fox 5. It took me to New York because I'm in Massachusetts. So that was probably the closest here to me. So when I Googled, it brought me there. Let's see. Fox 5 New York. All right, Fox 5 Tucson. I can't find Fox 5 Tucson. Maybe someone can get me the link, one of my moderators, and drop it in the chat. But we'll play this for now. See what I can do.
Should have been called in, and it's my opinion that the FBI should be charged with this investigation, and this sheriff's department should subordinate itself to the FBI.
Thank you, Being. I appreciate you.
Are clearly an aspect that are needed, and the sheriff's department has that capability to provide that. But we don't have forensics like the FBI has. We don't have those who can look at personality types that might commit.
Thank you, Celtic. Thank you. Appreciate you.
And
thank you.
It should have been recognized initially that once this is
Elizabeth is new. Look at all these new people.
An abduction, get a task force together and bring on the FBI and ask them to take it over.
Why do you think that didn't happen?
Thank you. Yes.
Unfortunately, the sheriff, Chris Nanos, has an exorbitant ego, and he, in one case I can think of prior to this one, told the FBI he's the better investigator.
I just saw this this meme. I just saw this meme that
he doesn't need their help, and that was a critical case that we needed their help with. This one in particular, they have far more resources than a sheriff's department has. You know, this county was established in 1865.
Okay, I'm gonna pause this for a second. Let's go back to this. I wanna go to a neighbor of Nancy Guthrie. She spoke today. It looks like to CNN. Let's hear what she says here. So let's pull this video up. Again, I'm still trying to work on confirming that ski mask. We heard about a ski mask, and I don't have confirmed reports of that. Let's see.
This morning when driving around before I had.
If we're not going to get it to pause here. Oh, we got the spinning wheel of death. Come on. Okay, let me share that again. Sorry, everybody. Thank you for all the new memberships. Let's see. Maybe we can get to the super chat goal tonight. I only need 3 more super chats to get to that goal. Maybe we can hit that super chat button too. Look at this, babe. Thank you for coming in. BB, thanks for coming in, saying just subscribe to the new channel. Great content. Appreciate you. And we're going to be doing a lot of extensive coverage on the Epstein files as well too. Let's see. New membership. Angela says, do I get a free membership? Let's see. Thank you, Nan. Yeah, Nan's great. Nan's an attorney that has also we always have Nan on the channel. She does a lot of my legal analysis, and we just did a great video the other day, and we looked through Jeffrey Epstein depositions, and it was really great to hear her take on that. And you can find that here on this channel. And I do I'm going to be doing a ton of Epstein coverage as well. Let's see. I only see Fox Phoenix. Can't find it. Mary, if you find a link, just email it to me. I can't find it. But let's listen to Nancy Guthrie's neighbor that's been neighbors of Nancy for the last 11 years.
That there were groups of people around on the outskirts of the neighborhood, which I hadn't seen before on the main thoroughfares. We have a thoroughfare to the south of us called River Road, and a thoroughfare that's a main thoroughfare from the foothills down through University of Arizona and south called Campbell Avenue. And I saw groups of people
Thank you,
along
Heidi.
those
Thank you.
areas. So I assumed that they were searchers, though
Tucson. Yeah, I saw her last night.
With any official, jackets, FBI or sheriff's department.
So I know that you, Laura, and there have been the images of Nancy Guthrie's roof, and that that there had been a tip from somebody that maybe people had been up there, and to go up there, and they went and they retrieved something. We don't know exactly how important that might have been, but that tip was important for them. And I know that you're the one who told them to do that. You said look at her roof. You also said to look at the septic tank. These are really important things, and we saw images of them obviously doing exactly as you had suggested. Why did you think it was important to make those specific suggestions?
Well, regarding the roof, I had been talking with a friend of mine who's a very detailed person as well, and we were discussing the situation, and she said, did you notice the roof? And we both looked at the image, and we both agreed that that roof looked recently recoated. Not that I thought there could be something up there, but I hadn't seen them on the roof previously. And I would assume that when you're investigating a case, you want to inspect every inch of that property. So I was glad to see that they were on the roof the next morning. I assume it was probably because I spoke directly with them about it. Maybe it's a coincidence. And then I did speak with someone about the septic tank, because I was not sure the FBI agents who were there at that time were aware that we have septic tanks, and there's a big hole in the ground that is usually like the size of a manhole cover. And I wanted to make sure that they were aware that existed. And then I saw the image that they searched. So I was glad that they did that.
Well, I mean, these are important things, and obviously showing that they're talking to neighbors and you're giving that information is making a big difference. When you saw the video that came out yesterday that the FBI released of the armed and masked person at Nancy Guthrie's front door, obviously this is your neighbor, this is your neighborhood, this is a terrifying situation. What was your reaction when you saw that?
It was startling and a bit terrifying, but I immediately went to assessing the physique of this person. I immediately could see the physique of this, of the size of the head, the shape of the legs, the probably approximate weight, just to see if he looked familiar.
I have some news here. Hang on a second.
And I immediately started running through the list of people that I've worked with here. And as I may have mentioned earlier to your producer, that a lot of times people share service people in the area. It's not out of the ordinary for the same yard service to be on 3 or 4 different properties to give referrals to your neighbors or roofers or electricians. So I just immediately looked to see if the shape looked familiar to me. And I immediately did that more so than being fearful, but also hopeful because now we have an image to go by. So momentarily, I pulled out some hope.
Yes,
Hope was waiting for a while, but I pulled out some hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at this. Heidi, thank you so much for the the 199 super sticker. I appreciate that. And Grammy, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. And again, my chat has frozen once again. But I did see, let's see. Linda, thank you so much for the 10. And that puts us, I believe, at our goal. Did we hit our goal tonight? Let's see. Very close. 9 out of 10. Okay. Appreciate that. Let's see. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. Let's look. I have some news here. I want to report. I have some news I want to report. Let's go back to the live feed. JLR is in the middle of just nowhere right now. Let's see. I want to go widescreen. Okay. We'll keep that up on the screen while I look through. I just want to get this chat. Hang on. Let's go widescreen here with the chat. Okay, perfect. Let's do this. I have I hate that this is doing this now. Okay, let's read this. I have some updates here. So let's see. Fox News reports an hour ago via Laura Ingram says on let's see. Paul D. Morrow says on Nancy Guthrie search, Tucson quickly turns into essentially the wilderness. BORTAC is on the ground, experts in tracking. And when I Googled BORTAC is Border Patrol Tactical Unit, is an elite specialized unit within the U.S. Customs Border Protection Special Operations Group established in 1984. It proves immediate high-risk response to incidents requiring advanced tactical skills, search and counterterrorism, hostage rescue specialized in difficult to access terrain operations, both nationally and internationally. So yeah, I mean, definitely a very rough terrain in that area. Emily, thank you for being a new subscriber. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. My moderators appreciate all the new subs as well too. So let's see. And I also have this to report. Okay, so I have an opinion here. Nick at News an hour ago put this tweet out, said, the sun is setting over Tucson in the 11th day of Nancy Guthrie's search. Her doorbell cam remains the key evidence, and that is very, very true. And we have gloves that we're hearing that they're supposedly testing for DNA now. Much else is unclear, including whether this is a ransom kidnapping, or an abduction with another motive. No significant information has been divulged today. Yes, very quiet day as far as information. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other information? Nothing as of yet. Let's listen to JLR real quick while I see what's going on. Okay, I think we reached our goal. Let's see. My chat is frozen, but I see Dr. Bob, and Dr. Bob's been
camera catching anything like that.
Has been a member here, I think, well over 35 months. For 35 months, he's been here. Dr. Bob, thank you for putting me at the goal today. I appreciate that. Maybe we'll start up another one, right? Let's start another one. Why not? We'll be here for a little while. Let's see if we can do that in 2 hours. Thank you, Dr. Bob. I appreciate it. Hopefully my chat will unstick, because it's been sticking. The last 3 nights I've gone live, we've had sticking streams on StreamYard. Let's see what's going on here on Boots on the Ground.
Where is she?
See if I can get in any other channels. All right, let's see.
Here's the house. car coming.
Oh, let's see. Car coming.
Dude, I had this eerie feeling that somebody's going to jump me.
Wait. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere.
So they shine lights on their home. The media shine lights on the house. This is NBC News. You have any comment?
Don't definitely own a big dog. Yeah. I'm trying to get my chat to unstick. It's been crazy. And thank you for becoming a new member. I appreciate you. Let's see. What's up says each day that passes says it makes me seem Nancy's not be here. I don't know.
All right, folks.
You can survive this.
With that being said, I'm going to sign off.
AV Designs.
If something else breaks, you will definitely hear it here on JLR Investigates. Boots on the ground outside Annie and Tommaso's home.
All right, I got my chat to unstick.
Any key location centered around this case. Wherever the FBI goes, we go. Wherever Pima County sheriffs go, we go. Wherever any law enforcement goes, we go. Wherever there's a situation, we go. We will continue to follow this every twist and turn in the case.
I'm not going to sign off yet. I'm going to stay a little while longer here.
She's out there somewhere. What happened? Who's involved? What in the world is going on here, people? If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button. Boots on the ground latest. Gloves being found. Searches all over the place. Neighbors being asked questions. We will stay with this story. So,
I'm not going anywhere. We're gonna hang out a little while longer here.
Got the phone on standby. If there's any arrests, any searches at locations, I'll pop back up and go live with the tripod. All right, we cover boots on the ground.
All right, we're gonna get out of this. Let's get out of that. So welcoming everybody again. If you're just coming in, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe. We are trying to follow any new leads or any new information that has been put out there about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Let me do this before I forget about these. I had a couple Cash Apps that come in. Let's see. Karen, thank you so much for the $10 Cash App. We had William with a $1 Cash App, and we also had Karen with another $10 Cash App. And I think I had some Venmos that came in. A couple of Venmos that came in. Let's see. No, I got one here. Teresa, thank you so much for the 20. Says, thanks, Brian, for your great work. I appreciate that. We try to do, the best in the real-time coverage that we can and just give you all of the information that I can find and source out. I'm going to hang out here a little while longer. We can go back to Brian Enton. Let me see. Anjanette Levy is saying, I am skeptical. It's 21 minutes ago. I am skeptical about the black glove captured in this photo by the New York Post. It looks clean, and it looks too clean to have been there since 2/1/26. Thoughts? And again, we talked about this earlier. This could be someone that's out there pulling a hoax. It could be someone that's out there pulling a hoax. We don't know. But according to what we're hearing in the reports, they are going to test this for DNA. Let's go back up to Brian Enton's report.
It's a big county, and law enforcement has been an element to it for decades and decades. And it has a lot of experienced people and talented people, but not the resources that the federal agencies have. So it's apparent that perhaps Nancy was abducted. It's apparent that she was likely injured in the process. It's apparent that somebody did it for a reason. We don't know. There seems to be the thought that there's money involved in Bitcoin and I'm sitting back in my experiences of 46 years in law enforcement asking, well, why is it $6 million? Why isn't it 3 million or 10 million? And why is it labeled US dollars? What does that tell me? And I'm asking myself, where are they keeping, Nancy? The logistics involved in keeping a person safe, if in fact you want to turn that person over safe to get money,
a lot.
is complicated.
Yeah.
Do you think though that the ransom element could just be wrong? I mean, that they're moving on from that. Are you hearing anything? Because it seems like, based on Savannah's last video and some of the messaging from the FBI and the sheriff's office last night, that
Look at this. Oh, we heard, and we also heard a report about a private. Did you guys hear in the chat? I heard this today, and I actually saw a video of it, of a guy that rolled up to the Guthrie house, okay, and claimed that he had been a private investigator. I heard something about that. Well, there's a report now. Fox True Crime says this 31 minutes ago. A source close to the Guthrie family tells Fox News the family did not hire a private investigator. So who is this person? Who is this person that just showed up today and said, I'm a private investigator? I'm here, private investigator. Let me see if I can find any print report on that. Let's see. The private investigator. Really? Yes. Here we go. Nancy Guthrie's family hires a private investigator, Ms. Buzz of Annie Guthrie's Tommaso, getting out of hand. Let's see. The Guthrie family has reportedly hired a private investigator as the search for Nancy Guthrie continues. A local reporter said on X that a man who identified himself as a private detective hired by the family showed up at Nancy Guthrie's house. This family, this comes even as the nation is closely following the investigation after Guthrie was reported missing on February 1st. Okay, we've got that. Okay, that was Matt Colson. That's someone that's a local reporter down in the Tucson area at KGUN, KGUN 9. I need to follow her on X. But let's see. She had that. Okay, here it is. She's got. Let's play that video. It's like people like, did they really hire a PI? And they're saying that they didn't? Because, and I said this earlier today, if the family hired a PI, that's saying one thing, it's saying a couple things to law enforcement, it's saying a couple things to the FBI. Let's just say they did. And now that they're backtracking, maybe they don't want law enforcement or the FBI to know that they hired a private investigator. But what is that telling law enforcement? What is that telling the FBI if you're the family and you've gone out and hired a PI? It's saying that you don't trust their investigation, that it's taking too long, that they want answers. And I talked about this in the very beginning of the stream. Why has it been 7 days since the last update, since the last press conference? 7 days from Pima County Sheriff Department has not come out. And they keep saying on their X account, we don't have a press conference today. We're not going to speak. Why? Do we believe that the family is so frustrated at this point that they went out and hired this private investigator, but now it's getting retracted, that sources are saying no? If you think that the family is disgusted and they're upset at this upset at the investigation, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that they are happy and going along with this, put a 2. But let's play this video from this said private investigator. Let's play that. Let's see what he said. I mean, I would be frustrated at this point. 11 days.
Properties, or just this one? This one. Other properties, or just this one? This one. Thank you. All right.
Who's this person? Kind of looks like a PI to me, right? Could be. Is it a friend? Friend of the family? Is it really a PI? I wonder what this sticker is in the back of the. I wonder what that sticker is.
Other properties, or just this one? This one. Thank you. All right.
I wonder if someone could identify that sticker on the back. This is the alleged PI. Police certainly let him go up to the house. All right, let me read the headline. I'm going to read the headline to you all. Let's go back. So the headline says, moments ago, this is 8 hours ago, moments ago, a man who tells us he's a private investigator for the family showed up to Nancy Guthrie's house and spoke to the sheriff deputy on site. He also dropped off what looks like some additional security signage. But the report that I just read said that sources said that they didn't hire a private investigator. Fox sources close to the family tell Fox News that the family did not hire a private investigator. This is getting weird. Super weird. Mixed information. Let's see if we got anything new. Let's refresh. And in the meantime, we will go back to Brian Enton's video. No live boots on the ground right now.
They may be following other leads now, something totally different.
Well, certainly, and they've gone back to the scene to look at the vegetation of the desert in and around the home. I would have hoped that was initially inspected in such detail that you look for footprints, you look for downtrodden areas in the desert. And as you can see, that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. Is this a kidnapping? I don't know. Why would they have her this length of time if, in fact, the family has decided to pay and they want her back? What has happened? Is there another nefarious intent here? Is somebody angry at the family for some reason? And we don't know that. I don't know that. I would be asking those questions. I would be looking at the cameras that go in and out of this jurisdiction to the border of Mexico. The first night, if she was taken, and presumably by a vehicle, where are the tire tracks? Did they head to the border with her and cross somewhere into Mexico?
Do you think they even looked for tire tracks? I mean, it just seemed so rushed in the beginning.
So Litmus Velvet is saying, not a kidnapping, in my opinion. Okay. And then Shoes is saying, this is just doesn't seem to be going anywhere, in my opinion. I know. It's like we get information that feels like we're going to get a great lead, right? We feel like we're, like last night when the news broke of this, it was a subject. It was a subject. And then we heard it was a person of interest. And then they had been held. And it was a couple of hours. And then they just let the guy go. And the reason that he became a subject was his cell phone activity and his vehicle being seen in that area. And then he's gone. Just let him go. But I'm sure that eyes are still on this guy. Maybe he is still a person of interest and they let him go and they just want to see what his movements are. And they might have someone tailing him. That does happen too. Let's just see what he's going to do. So, I don't know. Amy says, I agree. It's an inside job or something went wrong. Yeah, but I mean, do you think if it's an inside job, and that's why I asked earlier in the chat, I said, hey, do you think it's professional or amateur? I think it was like 75 or 76% of the people said amateur. I mean, think about that. Amateurs are outdoing, if this is an amateur, they are, and believe me, by looking at that video, these people don't look professional at all, but it's looking really bad if this is an amateur and they are duping the FBI and the local sheriff department right now. Literally. I mean, think about that. All right, let's play
everything back up.
I think the initial thinking was this is another elderly person who's wandered away, and that happens in the desert often. That type of a situation happens. And the resources that were called out initially, search and rescue folks, people on foot, investigators, the sheriff's department has a homicide team, and one of their ancillary responsibilities is to look for missing people and start delving into it. But it's clear to me that the evidence that they found at that house was indicative of an abduction and a crime. That was clear to me. And I'm not looking at the case. I don't know the specifics. So I think there's some flailing of arms, literally, going on, and an investigation that's unclear. Sadly, I know Chris Nanos, the sheriff, and his personality type and his need to micromanage, and he stifles creativity because of the way he interacts with his talent. And that is not necessarily a positive thing when you have an investigation of this sort. You need resources. You need outside looks at this.
Is he still? Do you think that the sheriff's office is still in charge? Do you know? Because it's kind of hard on the outside.
Okay, let's go to some live reporting here. Hang on Fox. Let's go to this. This is live. Let's switch over. Here we go.
Making a connection between the glove that was found and who was wearing it.
No, you would still get information. First of all, it'd be
Just
great
gonna use the
information to have
restroom. I'll be right back.
post arrest, as far as securing a conviction. But you get a lot of information about the person from their DNA, and who knows? Maybe their cousin went on the ancestry, or 123, they know 123 and me and all the other ubiquitous DNA research, the commercial centers. And if that's the case, well, now you're a huge step forward, because now you know that, all right, whoever this DNA belongs to, it's a first cousin of so and so, who is just a commercial client of a DNA company. And that happens all the time. You get the hits like that. So hopefully it is the glove. Hopefully they do get something on it. And by the way, the fact that the glove is found proximate to a roadway, well, now that's going to bring another area of investigation. Maybe they were looking at that roadway before, but now if that is in fact the glove, they're going to be looking at that whole area very, very intently, and whatever routes that are adjacent, maybe something else was thrown out. Maybe someone was hiking or walking their dog and they saw something unusual in that area around that time. So it just opens up another avenue of investigation to follow.
You know, how are federal agencies and the local agencies dividing their responsibilities on this case right now? We've heard of thousands of tips coming in, and then you also think about pieces of evidence like a black glove being found. Who processes the glove? Who is responsible for processing the thousands of tips? How is that divided up between federal agencies and the local guys?
That's a fantastic question, and I'm sure a lot of people watching have that same question. So usually, what you do is you break up tasks based on the ability your agency has to perform a certain investigative measure. The analysis, for example, DNA, that's going to the FBI. Period. If you found an explosive device, that's going to the ATF. Narcotics, that's going to DEA. The local police, they know the terrain, they know the people, they know the area completely. So, and I mean, they seem to have limited manpower. So you're going to get a task force put together with local
I am
police
back.
officers, local sheriffs, state police, and then every federal agency that's brought into this case. And as far as the knocking on door stuff, that would just be probably doled out, based on whoever's available. There's really no reason that a sheriff's deputy or police officer, an FBI agent be preferred, knock on someone's door and say, hey, do you have any camera footage? Did you see anything? That's just basic canvassing. That'd be done just based on manpower and availability. But the special talents, like the forensic analysis, that'll go to the agency that's best suited to do it.
David Katz, good to check in with you. David's the CEO of Global Security Group. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
You bet. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to take our final break of the hour, a live look at the White House, approaching 10 p.m. in D.C. Our coverage continuing in a moment.
Okay, let's get out of this for a moment. We'll go back to Brian Enton. We're going to play
down
them.
a lot. And the
Let me search out
FBI,
some new. See if let me check on X and see if anything's been updated. People have been really great on updating on X. Let me play Brian Enton. I'm going to keep searching X and see if we can find any new information here. Again, if you're just checking in, my name is Brian. This is LTL Media. If you're just popping in, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're doing real-time updates in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. Manhunt is still underway. Today, they found some black gloves, and according to reports that they are being tested for DNA. And that's what we have at this point. We also had an earlier story this morning broken by Harvey Levin about another note that has sent, and it was demanding some Bitcoin to reveal who these kidnappers were. All reports have not confirmed if this was a hoax, if it was real. This case just gets weirder and weirder by the minute. It really does. But no major breaks today besides these gloves. So let me see what I can source up. We'll go back to Brian Enton for now. There's no boots on the ground as far as I know that are out there. So I don't have a live feed, but here we go.
seems like they are taking over some aspects.
Well, they're supporting, and I've heard the sheriff say that our partners, our federal partners,
thank you, Viper,
which infers that they're involved in this. It's my opinion they should be the lead. And
is it just an ego thing?
Yes, that is my opinion. It's an ego thing, and I have seen that play out with that personality, Chris Nanos, a number of times in my career, and it's not helpful. Sometimes you need to back up, reassess, and consider what other resources might be available and call on those.
Is it true that the homicide team is inexperienced?
It is true. They're less experienced than previous homicide details, but a lot of folks have retired, myself included.
I mean, how inexperienced?
To my understanding, there's a number of them that have only been in their positions a couple of years, and that is not enough experience to deal with this type of a crime. To abduct an elderly person and demand money is I can't recall in 46 years of law enforcement service a case like that ever occurring, ever. And that's troubling. But who has the experience? And I think the federal agencies do. And they should have been called in earlier, in my opinion.
There's reports now that they're DNA swabbing, people who worked in Nancy's house, that kind of thing. Is that pretty typical?
Yes.
That doesn't mean that those people would be suspects, I don't think, right? I mean, it's just they're probably just trying to. Well, what do you think?
I believe that if it's being done now, it should have been done a long time ago. I'm sure that there are support individuals, that have come in, whether they have medical.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you.
Nurse visits as an example. Those people need to be talked to. Landscapers need to be talked to. The pool keeper needs to be talked to. DNA pulled from all of those is important, because if you've got an unknown DNA, which perhaps they do, I don't know whether they do or don't, you need to exclude or look at a match.
Yeah, that would make sense. You mentioned how big the county is. I mean, until you're here, you don't really realize it, how vast it is, and there's it's tough terrain. And just for people at home who don't know, I mean, just describe it a little. And how big is it?
Yeah, Elizabeth, I'm going to drop my email. My chat keeps freezing. It's so annoying. Elizabeth, I see your chat. She says, can someone post LTL's email? Brian, I have a link about the ski mask. Where do I send this to? You'll see the email pop up. It's at letstalklivepodcast@gmail.com. And just let me know when you drop that so I can check out the email. And I appreciate that. Again, listen, there's no boots on the ground at the moment. We're going back and looking at Brian Enton's reporting. I'm doing real-time updates as I can, as new information comes in. We just heard about this private investigator that was supposedly at Nancy Guthrie's house, met with the family. Then we heard sources saying close to Fox News that it wasn't a private investigator and they haven't hired a private investigator. Like, what is going on in this fucking case? I'm confused. I think all of America, all of the world, all of the nation is confused right now. And, to me, the investigation is horrible. I mean, how embarrassing if they really did hire a private investigator to say, like, look, you're not getting it done. We've had to hire our own people to come in and take a look at this. And that's embarrassing for the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department. All right, let's see what we got. All right, let's keep playing Brian Enton as I keep searching and sourcing. See if we get it.
This county, Pima County, named after the Pima Indians, is 9,241 square miles. That is huge. There's a town 150 miles from where we are right now that's still within the county. The county has a direct border with Mexico, and that's miles and miles, tens and tens of miles long. The county is bigger than some states along the East Coast. New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and it requires a special type of policing. One officer might have a need and could be 30 miles away, and that's not easy to get there quickly. So the topography, as you can see, we're heading into the Saguaro Monument, is another challenge. The desert is not necessarily, it's beautiful, but it's not always friendly. There are a number of risks out there with thorny bushes and cactus and poisonous animals that, do hurt people that go out in it. So
Seriously.
the search and rescue capability of the Sheriff's Department is pretty busy. They're always busy. They're always searching for something.
Do you know what happened with the plane? I've heard some reports that the plane didn't get up right away because of a beef with the sheriff and the pilot. Is that true?
Well, I don't know it to be true. I've heard the same thing. It's my understanding he dismissed the pilot that was going to fly the night that she was missing. It's my understanding that same pilot contacted via a chain of command the sheriff and said, look, we have a need. We have aircraft available. Can I go? And he declined, is what I've been told. I don't know that to be true, but that sounds like what the sheriff would do.
Do people know that Nancy Guthrie? I mean, I'm just, I'm trying to think about like why this may have happened. And obviously, Nancy's daughter is Savannah, and people know.
Yeah,
she
that's
has
the
money,
big
but
question.
Do people in town in Tucson know that?
That's the $6 million question in this. Like, why was this done? That's the $6 million question. See, Paul is saying, and I agree with you, the sheriff's department did not do a very good job, especially way up front. Yeah, I agree. I wish I could pull that chat up, but I'm frozen. My chat in StreamYard is frozen. Let's see. All right, let's keep playing
Nancy
this.
Guthrie lives here, and where she lives, is she known in that way to be Savannah's mom?
Yes, I think the vast majority of people who pay attention to what's going on in this community know that Savannah grew up here, went to school here, and her mother lives here. I think a lot of them know that. I don't know that they personally know Nancy, but certainly they know of Savannah and the success that she has had in her career. And she's brought a sense of pride to this community because we're all proud of what Savannah has done. And we want to band together and deal with this unusual situation and get Nancy back to the family.
Let's talk about the geography here.
Well, what you're looking at is really typical desert right now. And obviously everybody recognizes saguaro cactus, and we're going to see a lot more. But some of the other shrubbery around here, like these spiny things that are tall to my left, those are called acatillo. And if you looked closely at them, they all have spines on them. There's mesquite brush here, palo verde trees, which actually the name is Spanish for a green tree. That's one of those right there. I don't know that you wanted a tour necessarily. People have heard about certain cactus that jump off at you and stick to you. And those are actually called jumping cholla. And I'll show you one when we get around.
Okay. I'm just thinking though, like, and I hope Nancy's alive somewhere. I mean, obviously,
we all,
but when I look at this, there's a lot of places to hide something.
There is. The topography is extreme. We're at 3,000 feet in elevation.
I see. Let's see. Ski mask, gloves found. Okay. Let's see. Elizabeth sent over. Let's see. Let's check out these videos here. All right. Zach Peters reporting. Okay. Let's check out what Zach has to say here. Hang on one second. All right. Let's see what Zach has to say. Let's share this screen. Hang on one second. Let's see. All right. Let's see here.
All right. We got a bit of an update on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. It appears we've found some evidence. FBI, local authorities, they seem to have found a glove and a ski mask, and they've also identified the make of the backpack that the assailant was wearing when he came onto Nancy Guthrie's porch to remove the camera, the Nest camera. So no major updates. Nancy is still missing. It's day 11. We've had yet another full day with no real answers, no press conferences, but from boots on the ground reporters, the latest we have is that there was a glove that was found nearby. Uncertain if the glove is related or if it's the glove that the perpetrator was wearing in the surveillance video. And then there was a ski mask that was found by a Circle K gas station a couple miles from Nancy's home. So it's possible that it is related. It's possible that it's not related. So many open-ended questions, no real answers yet. Nancy is still at large. There has not been a suspect that has been officially named. The man that was detained last night has since been released. He did not appear to be of much help to authorities. So stay tuned. Catch No Filter with Zach Peter, daily podcast available on YouTube, Spotify, all the places. I will keep.
Interesting. Again, we're hearing about this scheme. I haven't seen anything in the mainstream media. Let's go to, I also have this video as well too from CNN. Let's see here. What did CNN have to say?
The FBI has just released an actual video, and we're looking at it now. And Jake, are you able to see what he's doing?
I think this is old.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. So, FBI Director Kash Patel just 2
Hang on one second. This might be old. Yeah, that was yesterday. But the ski mask, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Mainstream media hasn't reported on it. All right, let's go back to Brian Enton.
Right where we're at right now. And there's a mountain in front of us that goes up to close to 7,000 feet. And there's a mountain to the north of us that goes almost 10,000 feet. And everything in between creates a topography that's a challenge. And as I was mentioning earlier, the search and rescue team for the sheriff's department has really difficult times in trying to locate people who come to this part of the country ill-prepared, without water, get lost, and
do people just vanish and you never find them?
Well, yes, that's happened. Typically they're found, but in many instances they're found deceased because they were ill-prepared. They didn't have enough water. In the summer, you could have 8% humidity and 115-degree temperature. That will kill you very quickly.
So do you have I hate to say gut feeling, but based on, the people and you obviously still know a lot of people, you were at the sheriff's office for how long?
46 years.
46 years. What is your gut telling you right now?
My gut is telling me that she's still alive.
Really?
And that the people who are holding her are trying to manage the logistics to get what they want, which presumably is money, and then safely return her. That's my gut.
So you think it was a kidnap, like a legit kidnapping?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the most logical outcome for this case. But there are certainly other possibilities, and you have one could be she was taken to spite some member of the family. We don't know that, but that certainly is an area that needs to be addressed and looked at.
But I just wonder why. It just seems like there'd be other people you could kidnap that would be easier, that are connected to more money than just this older woman who's needs medicine, can't walk very well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I think as I intimated, the logistics involved in keeping her now into week 2, just healthy and alive, is extremely difficult. And who could do that, and where would you keep her? This particular case has gotten national, even international coverage, and I think Nancy's face is extremely easy to recognize. How do you take her to someplace if in fact you need to get care for her, or have her eat, or use the restroom?
Would it be easy to get her into Mexico?
Yes, it would. There are heavily traveled border areas that you go down, and the United States Border Patrol pretty much gives you access without much question, and the Mexican authorities on the other side are typically, they won't question you. You just go in, and it's highly likely she could be in Mexico. It's my opinion that might be one of the places that would logically make some sense to deal with her until what they want, what they're demanding, is satisfied.
If you were still at the sheriff's office, what would you have done differently? Would you have taken help from more people early on? And how important is it in those first couple of days to do that?
It's critical in the first couple of days. And yes, I would have taken things differently in a different course. I would have called on a task force. And the whole idea is to collaborate with other people who may have other ideas and other input, and other
So I was
experiences in
looking
law
at
enforcement
something,
that
checking into
come
something.
to the table to compile all of this as a strategy to try to deal with this. The longer this sheriff's department takes to try and resolve this, the more difficult it may become, because there are medical issues with her and the need for her to get that attention, medical attention. I would have called in the FBI very early on, and as we have now learned, this was considered to be an abduction, kidnapping initially. Well, within the first 24 hours, they were coming to that conclusion. And the sheriff was, for reasons I don't clearly understand, was withholding detail that came out later that could have come out sooner. And he could have enlisted the help of the resources I've mentioned earlier, like the FBI and their forensic capabilities, not just electronically, but certainly with the evidence that's at the scene.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I did hear a test. I mean, and there's been a lot of reports about this that are just like unconfirmed. And I saw this earlier that, just kind of feel like we're running in circles with this case, right? That's what I feel like. We're running in circles with this case. We don't have a definitive answer anywhere. And that's what's really frustrating about it. Let me keep playing this. I'm going to look through
We could have helped with that. Could have helped
see what we
expedite
come up
that.
with.
Yeah, I was thinking about just motives. It's like money for these kinds of things, and based on other stories we've covered: money, sex, vengeance, vendetta. Do you think it could be like a vendetta or vengeance against someone else in the family that maybe doesn't have anything to do with Savannah Guthrie?
It could be. I mean, all of those.
Okay, we have a report here. Again, this is just someone that's saying a source. I'm going to give you this. Multiple reports suggest that there are cameras inside Nancy Guthrie's house. I haven't seen those reports, but let's just read this. Multiple reports suggest there are cameras inside Nancy Guthrie's house. If the FBI can retrieve that footage from the time of the abduction, it could answer many questions and also show Nancy's movements throughout the day, who she talked to, who she had been inside her house. If any of that, let's hope and pray this leads to answers. Well, yeah, of course. That's pretty standard standard stuff. All right, let's finish this
Situations
out.
or motives are certainly possible. A lot of people keep drawing to Savannah and her notoriety as being the impetus for this crime. That's not necessarily something you would want to solely focus on, because there are certainly other possibilities. Has someone in the family been or angered somebody else to cause them to do this? Those are things that need to be thoroughly vetted, and that's what police investigation is. Talk to the brother, talk to the sister, talk to any other siblings, caretakers, as we've discussed before.
Really appreciate Rick for taking the time to talk with me. I'm going to obviously be staying on this, see what develops today, and keep you guys posted with any developments. You guys know I'll post right away. YouTube, I'm on TikTok, also on News Nation pretty much every hour. And if anything pops, I'll just, like last night, I just got in the car and rushed to that area near the border. I mean, I was like, I need to slow down. I was going like 100 miles per hour in my little rental SUV. But I was trying to get there fast just because at that point, we still thought that it may have been something really, really serious. Again, now it seems like this person.
Okay, let's go live. I have live news here. Let's go live with Fox. Let's go live. Hang on, let's go live.
we could do to help them find out who sent
Here we go.
these.
This is
And
live.
we've done it, but yeah, not too much, unfortunately, on from our standpoint, Andy.
Yeah, my last question before I let you go, Michael, because this is day number 11 of the search for the 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. The Guthrie family still holds out hope that she will be returned home safely. But within the last 24 hours, there was the FBI surveillance. There was an individual being detained. There was a black glove found. There was the TMZ email. Do you feel closer than ever that potentially law enforcement are to cracking this case, to finding someone?
I do. And I think obviously, I mean, this is pretty obvious, but that video, to have an image, to be able to see some features and facial hair, and perhaps you can recognize, what's the backpack, what's the shirt, and these are all potential avenues that investigators can track down leads, and hopefully it brings them to whoever's responsible. The one thing I would say is, that going back to that ransom letter initially, Andy, there was the deadline on Thursday, and then there was a second deadline on Monday. And that second deadline on Monday, if we're to believe that letter is authentic, that second deadline came with the ultimate price to be paid if the money wasn't transferred to them. And I think we obviously haven't seen a proof of life. You pray that Nancy Guthrie is okay.
That is so very true. Obviously, people still holding out hope, but pieces of evidence slowly coming now since that piece of surveillance video was recovered by the FBI, despite she not having that kind of account with Nest. All right, Michael Babcock, I appreciate your time, your insight here on Live Now.
Andy and Michael with that conversation earlier today. Back out to us live now, 10:19 just about, in the nation's capital. Looks like we might have resolved the Trump White House events replay issue. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to take another crack at playing out.
Let's hear that again.
And really, what kind of procedure?
Imprints now. They're going to look at the clothing and say, okay, what is that something that was picked up in local Walmart and that would be ubiquitous, or is that something a little more unique that we could track down? Look at those gloves. By the way, they have a picture of those gloves, and if that
other to no avail.
Let's go back here a little bit.
White House, the amazing fantastic.
Guys,
All right, here we go. Let's listen to
Not
this.
sure
We'll
if
go back
we'll
to
be
this
able to
report.
fix that on our end. It appears that it was rolled. It was recorded that way. So what we'll do is we'll pivot. We'll, you know what I want to do? I want to replay an interview that my colleague Andy Mack had earlier with TMZ. Of course, TMZ is one of the news outlets that's been getting things like
I look like Seth
ransom
Rogen.
notes.
I can't see
In
the
fact, they got
chat.
a
My
third
chat is
letter
frozen.
today.
I apologize. Seth Rogen. Do I really look like Seth Rogen?
An
Do I
individual
look
who
like
has
Seth
not been
Rogen?
identified.
Really?
They got
think
another
I
letter.
do?
Basically, the person sent TMZ a letter saying they know who the person is who abducted Nancy Guthrie, but they want money
Saf.
for it. So, of course,
Sapphire Eyes, thank you so
impossible
much
to
for the
know if it's legit
$5.
or not.
Thanks for the
Andy
$5.
Mack
My chat's
speaking
frozen
with
again.
TMZ, playing some context from TMZ up at the top of this segment, and then
Let's listen to a little bit of
he
this.
interviews them live. This happened earlier
I don't
today.
know.
Let's play this back.
Might have to wrap this one up.
County receiving some 4,000 calls just in the last 24 hours. That totals up to about 18,000 of calls
Brian
they've
Ensign has
received, potentially
anything.
trying to assist some of the public in this. And FBI on the ground there
Let's
is
listen to this.
potentially looking into new leads around this as they're canvassing the area. And potentially they could also have found some new information. Fox News on social media talking about a black glove being found along the road near Nancy Guthrie's home. Officers were seen removing the glove from a brush before placing it into a bag. And notably, the FBI surveillance showed an individual wearing gloves, a ski mask, a long shirt, and
Apparently I
also
look like
a
Seth
backpack. So
Rogen.
obviously that could be potentially another breakthrough for all of this. And this comes after individual was detained last night. And then earlier on today, TMZ received another email from somebody demanding money, this time claiming it has information about Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper and attempt to contact the victim's children. So very interesting. Let's take you out to this. Harvey Levin was on Fox News earlier on today with that. Speaking to that, let's play this out for you.
Original letter. You did not receive a second letter
Let's
where another
listen to this.
affiliate did. So by my count, that's 2 letters. And you now report that TMZ has just been sent a third letter. Please explain and describe what you got about 90 minutes ago.
So an hour and a half ago, we got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister, Annie, and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. And as they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. It's interesting that, Bitcoin's
Have a good night,
fluctuating
Brenda. Thanks for being
value,
here.
but it's around $56,000 now, 1 Bitcoin, which is about the amount that the authorities are offering for information leading to the return of Nancy. So I don't know if that aligns, but
Excuse me.
whoever sent this, and they actually give a name and an email address, but whoever sent this is asking for around that amount via Bitcoin for information that they say leads directly to the person.
Let's take it as that is a big
Oh, new post from Brian Enton. Let's take a look. From Brian Enton, let's take a look. I love my chat. I love the chat. They'll get in here and they'll let us know. They let me know. They let me know. Let's take a look. Okay, let's see. I don't see anything from Brian Enton about the backpack. All right, let's finish this here.
An email this time coming in, not necessarily a note to TMZ about saying someone has information leading to a potential kidnapper. As we're getting more live pictures on the ground, the FBI continuing to canvass the area. We know a potentially black glove was recovered by authorities.
Clean,
Let's bring
no
into the
fighting.
conversation right now TMZ executive producer Michael Babcock. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk first about that email TMZ received about potentially trying to have Bitcoin sent to them about information leading to this kidnapper.
Let's do that.
What do we know right now?
Hey, Andy. Yeah, so it was about 4:54 to be precise this morning when, much like that ransom letter, which we still don't know whether it was legitimate or not, but when the ransom letter came in 8 days ago now, so it comes in to a shared email box that a lot of us here, the producers and reporters, have access to, and it essentially says that this person is claiming to have information about the captor or captors. And Andy, they say, I have tried to, this is them claiming here now that they have tried to reach out to Savannah's brother and to her sister via email and text to no avail. And because of that, they said, I'm reaching out to you guys and I am essentially selling the name of, again, the identity of the captor for the cost of 1 Bitcoin is what they said. Now, if you look, a Bitcoin is about $67,000 the last I checked. So somewhere in that ballpark. And if that amount was to then be paid, presumably they are saying they would turn over the identity of that captor.
Yeah, it's interesting because the FBI has an amount out there already that would lead
Yeah,
to the arrest of
positive
potentially
too.
someone.
We have a good
And
chat.
this one coming via email, so you almost could respond to this email, unlike that other ransom note.
Right.
Does this catch you off guard in that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it ultimately came in the same way for us, Andy, but the unfortunate reality is that you basically just write your email address and you can make something up if you wanted to. So, I mean, yeah, there was contact information. Obviously, this is for the FBI to figure out how important it is or if it's legitimate or not. So immediately turned over. But that doesn't make sense to me, the part about the reward. And, there's a $50,000 reward that is being offered now. So why would you potentially risk committing a crime to sell the identity of this person when you could just turn them in, earn $50,000, and I'm sure then have a bunch of other opportunities that were there for you, aside from just doing the right thing and helping an 84-year-old woman who is, in a horrible situation right now.
Yeah, we've already seen one individual be arrested for a potential hoax. They were texting someone about that Bitcoin. What is TMZ doing? What are local law enforcement doing to kind of verify the authenticity of it, if you have any kind of protocols?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much you can do. I mean, I know when we got the original note last week that was from allegedly the people who have taken Nancy Guthrie, there was a Bitcoin address in there. We verified that this was, in fact, an actual address that could get money sent to it. We constantly kept an eye on that wallet to see if anything was paid. But outside of that, there's really not much we can do as far as confirming the authenticity. You turn it over to the authorities and they take it from there. And we have cooperated with them every step of the way. If there's anything that we could do to help them find out who sent these.
Yeah. So one Bitcoin, the price today, and it's up 332 points, 50% today. Price of Bitcoin is just one Bitcoin, $67,347. I wish I had bought one Bitcoin years ago. I wish I had bought a handful of them a couple of years ago. Right? Let me ask you something. When all this crypto talk came out, and we heard about Bitcoin for the first, when was Bitcoin invented? I want to check this out. When was Bitcoin invented? Bitcoin was in January 3rd, 2009. Okay. Would you have bought or got some Bitcoin back in 2009? Would you have done it? Or just even before the boom in Bitcoin? If you would have known now, back then, that Bitcoin, one of them, would have been $67,000 today, would you have bought Bitcoin back in 2009? If you would, put a 1 in the chat. If not, put a 2. I would have bought tons of it. Oh my
Then
God.
we've done it, but yeah, not too much, unfortunately, on from our standpoint, Andy.
Yeah, my last question before I let you go, Michael, because this is day number 11 of the search for the 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. The Guthrie family still holds out hope that she will be returned home safely. But within the last 24 hours, there was the FBI surveillance. There was an individual being detained. There was a black glove found. There was the TMZ email. Do you feel closer than ever that potentially law enforcement are to cracking this case, to finding someone?
I do. And I think obviously, I mean, this is pretty obvious, but that video, to have an image, to be able to see some features and facial hair, and perhaps you can recognize, you know, what's the backpack, what's the shirt, and these are all potential avenues that investigators can track down leads, and hopefully it brings them to whoever's responsible. The one thing I would say is, you know, that going back to that ransom letter initially, Andy, there was the deadline on Thursday, and then there was a second deadline on Monday. And that second deadline on Monday, if we're to believe that letter is authentic, that second deadline came with the ultimate price to be paid if the money wasn't transferred to them. And I think we obviously haven't seen a proof of life. You pray that Nancy Guthrie is okay.
That is so very true. Obviously, people still holding out hope, but pieces of evidence slowly coming now since that piece of surveillance video was recovered by the FBI, despite she not having that kind of account with Nest. All right, Michael Babcock, I appreciate your time, your insight. You're on live now.
All right. And there we have it. No more updates at this point. I'll share a quick story with all of you before we go. So I'll show you how close, how close I was to winning the Powerball. I'm going to share a story with you. 1995, August 29th, 1995. So my mom is dating this guy for about 2 years. Okay. He loses his license to drinking and driving. My mom is driving, at 5 o'clock in the morning, an hour, dropping him off at work, coming home, working her shift, going and picking him back up. Okay. And he's living with us, and she finally gets sick of him. And I remember this is like just going through the OJ trial. We're almost getting to the completion of the OJ trial, because what was the verdict in September? So August, September. She kicks him out. A couple of weeks later, he hits the Powerball for $31 million. This is how close. That's how far away. It was one person away. Just one person away from hitting the Powerball. One person away, but yeah. And you end up taking the 20-year payout, which you never do. You always want to just take the lump sum, pay the taxes up front, because if you take the if you take the if you just take the the payout every year, which is probably just under $1 million with taxes. So we got 20 years payout, pay the taxes. But if you die in the middle of that, it just goes back into circulation. And from what I hear now, he is penniless. He is broke. He moved to Florida. He bought a house down in Florida. He met a very young woman, young girl at the time, and actually put her through college. And then from what I heard was when she graduated, she left. So she got the money and then left. But yeah, this was a true story. This is how close we were, one person away from hitting the Powerball. Unbelievable. Unreal. But hey, right? Here we are. And I got all of this, right? I love you guys. You guys are awesome. What a great chat. But I think this is going to end for tonight. I think we're kind of at the end of tonight's news cycle. I haven't seen anything, heard anything new. I'm going to do this. Let's just take one last scour through X, and then we might close up shop here. But I want to appreciate all of the new people that have come in and subscribed to LTL Media. And I want to say and just remind you all that I will be continuing my coverage of the Jeffrey Epstein files, because that is an extremely important thing that is going on in the world right now. And let me see here. Anything new? No new updates. All right, no new updates. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, no new updates at this time. I think that's going to end our coverage tonight. So it is night 11 here. I'm going to be going way after the Epstein files. If you haven't seen my video, I have a video here that kind of launched right around the time the 3 million pages, 180 photos were put out, and then we had over 2,000 videos. I streamed this 10 days ago. If you're interested, that'll leave you down kind of the series that I started on my channel about the Epstein files, and I'm going to be doing tons of deep diving into it. And I'll drop that link in the chat. Please go over and check that video out. Let's see. But I appreciate all of you. I thank you all for coming in. Tons of new people that have come in, tons of super chats, tons of new members. I'm just going to pop these up real quick before we head out. All these new members. Thank you, Karen. You've been supporting big time here. I appreciate you. Another Karen. Thank you. Lots of Karens. Thank you. I gifted out 10 memberships tonight. We got some new members in here. Thank you. And it was nice to see a lot of the, in the chat tonight, a lot of new people, faces that we haven't seen that just came across the channel and subscribed. Thank you, Steve. Tons of new members tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Dr. Bob's been here for 35 months, I think. And thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you, little Miss Red Velvet. It's great seeing you here as well, too. And we're going to wrap this one up. So I want everybody to get some rest. We'll continue the coverage. If there's anything that breaks, obviously now until the time I go to bed, I'll get on here and update everybody. And let's see. Let's see. Oh boy. Let me hear. Wait a second. We got some news here. Let me see if I can find the CNN feed. There's something going on in CNN right now. Let's see if we can get in here. I can't. I don't have the damn subscription. But apparently there's a report that says, oh boy, an hour ago, some homeless. Oh, I think this is probably a joke. Yeah, that's a joke. Okay, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. All the new people that have subscribed. We'll continue the coverage here on Nancy Guthrie and obviously getting to the Epstein files as well, too. Everybody be safe. Let's meet back here soon, and I'll keep my eye on this. And if anything pops up in the next couple of hours, I'll jump on and update you all. If not, we'll get back to programming soon. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks for popping in. Take care. And I love the person that's doing the laughy emoji, because every time you click that button, it's helping the algorithm, so it's bringing in new people. So you keep laughing, okay? Keep laughing. I love it. And I'll keep laughing as well, too. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great night. Take care. Bye-bye.